A warm welcome to Wednesday's Primetime News. I'm Joy Gorses. We commence with news from the United Nations Climate Change Conference underway in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, where President Dr. Hage Geingob signed a memorandum of understanding with the European Union. The agreement aims to establish a strategic partnership on sustainable raw materials value chain and green hydrogen to enhance both economies. More on our lead story by Lenia Deshena.
Signing the MOU during the United Nations Climate Change Conference, COP27, underway in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt on Tuesday, Geingob said the MOU is a politically and legally non-binding document that captures and outlines Namibia and the EU's joint commitment to the development of a secure and sustainable supply of raw materials and the value chains. Geingob said Namibia, through the Harambee Prosperity Plan 2, has outlined its vision and ambition to position itself as a global pioneer and leader in the emerging market for green hydrogen made from renewable electricity and enhancing abundant solar and wind resources. The president said Namibia's view is that they have a unique opportunity to leverage their natural resources, be it sun, wind or minerals, to attract much needed foreign direct investment and create new sustainable engines for economic growth for current and future generations. He noted that the government will pursue the local beneficiation of minerals and increase mineral processing activities in the country in order to contribute towards industrialization and promote job creation, skills development, technology transfer, and economic diversification. The MOU was signed by the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen.
The SADC Groundwater Management Institute's Communication and Knowledge Management Specialist, Thokozani Dlamini, in a media statement issued Tuesday, says the institute, in collaboration with the Namibian government, will convene the 5th SADC Groundwater Conference from the 16th of November to the 18th of November 2022 in Windhoek. More on this story by Sawi Hausiku.
SADC GMI Communication and Knowledge Management Specialist Thokozani Dlamini, in a media statement issued on Monday, said the conference seeks to provide a platform to discuss ways of enhancing the contribution of groundwater to sustainability and ecosystem services for socio-economic development and climate change adaptation. This, he said, it is important, especially in the SADC region, which faces many challenges requiring multidimensional solutions to address the many deficiencies at the household level. Dlamini said the main messages of the conference will contribute to the agenda of the Groundwater Summit in Paris in December 2022 and United Nations Water Conference in New York in March 2023. He stated highly esteemed keynote speakers and presenters will tackle groundwater's critical role and provide robust scientific solutions in enhancing groundwater contribution to socio-economic development in the SADC region and beyond. Reporting for Primetime News, Lenia Deshena.
On to politics. The Affirmative Repositioning Movement has resolved to keep its interim operational mass and National Activist Council intact until the movement's next National Elective Assembly. This was announced recently in a media statement.
The party has also resolved that the interim regional activist councils set up AR regional structures using the bottom-up approach as guided by the Constitution, starting from the communities, which are the basic entry point of the movement. AR acting spokesperson George Kambala said the establishment of the structures, such as the Community Activist Council or District Activist Council, and the convening of the assemblies are not the same, although related. He noted that the assemblies follow the establishment of the structures. Kambala explained the assemblies are a constitutional mechanism through which permanent decisions and leadership are established, and there can be no assembly without a structure. The National Assembly was attended by activists from 12 regions across the country who adopted the inaugural AR Constitution with the aim of providing a new life and path for the movement and its activities. Reporting for Primetime News, Lenia Deshena.
Now shifting attention towards health matters. Health and Social Services Minister Dr. Galumbi Shangula has called on the public and private sectors to embrace and support the establishment of the envisioned National Nuclear Research Center for Sustainability and Self-Reliance. Take a listen.
The center is expected to conduct specialized training programs for technical and non-technical personnel from policy regulatory uranium mining companies and agriculturalists, among others. Shangula, at the opening of the inaugural National Nuclear Science and Technology Conference in Windhoek today, stressed that Namibia's success hinges on the strength of institutions and systems, which in this case include the capacity to conduct research, deploy knowledge, skills and innovations for sustainable development. He noted, focus should therefore be placed on how technology can serve to provide solutions to the development challenges faced daily by ordinary people, and policymakers, regulators, and stakeholders should focus on finding solutions to how the application of technology positively impacts them during this conference. Adding, they are mindful of the fact that nuclear technology has the potential to solve many economic and social problems in society. Shangula said, for these reasons, the policy framework they have put in places speak directly to these issues. Reporting for Primetime News, Linnea Additional.
When we return, Chita Cement employees and management reach agreement. In tonight's Primetime Bus installment, we commence with the industrial action at the Chita Cement factory, which started in July this year and came to an end on Monday after employees and management signed a new wage agreement. Our correspondent in that region filed the story.
The management of Chita Cement in a media statement indicated that nearly 200 employees were on strike since 21st July 2022. The statement said the new wage agreement was signed by the Mine Workers Union of Namibia on behalf of the workers, while the management of Whale Rock Cement, trading as Chita Cement, signed on behalf of the company. The new wage deal includes a salary increase of 1,000 Namibian dollars across the board, housing allowance of 1,000 Namibian dollars, and the introduction of a medical aid. The company is expected to contribute 80% towards the medical aid, while employees, as main members, will contribute 20%. Chita Cement stated a new pension fund will also be introduced in January 2023, where an employee of the company will contribute 25% to it and 75% by the company. It stated a 12-month back pay will be made within 14 days after the final signature of the two parties involved. The strike was prompted by a failed wage negotiation between the Mine Workers Union of Namibia and the Chita Cement after the workers blamed the company for negotiating in bad faith when they allegedly demanded for a reasonable salary increase and the introduction of housing, medical aid and pension benefits.
South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, whose coal-dependent country is among the world's top polluters, criticized international funders for making it difficult for poorer nations to access aid to fight climate change during his speech at the United Nations Climate Change Summit. Have a listen.
South African President Cyril Ramaphosa told the UN COP27 Climate Summit that support from multilateral organizations is out of reach of the majority of the world's population due to lending policies that are risk-averse and carry onerous costs as well as conditionalities. Addressing the meeting in Egypt's Sharm el-Sheikh, he said,
"We need a clear roadmap to deliver on the Glasgow decision to double adaptation financing by 2025. Our emphasis must be on the health, well-being, and food and water security of the most vulnerable people in the world."
A UN-backed report released on Tuesday said developing countries and emerging economies need investment well beyond $2 trillion annually by 2030 if the world is to stop the global warming juggernaut. South Africa, one of the world's top 12 polluters, last week revealed that it will require about $98 billion over the next 5 years to transition to net zero.
With the business and economics news, we have come to the end of the top segment. Up next is Sport Planet, but first the economics roundup, followed by the weather forecast. tonight's Sport Planet segment, we commence with football. Fueled by past disappointments at the World Cup, Neymar has been preparing for a long time to make sure he is in peak condition to lead Brazil into this year's tournament in Qatar. Now aged 30, the world's most expensive player has often struggled to live up to expectations and been hampered by injuries since joining Paris Saint-Germain from Barcelona in 2017 for a record 222 million euros. George Hendricks reports.
It is not so long ago that Neymar let slip that Qatar could be his last World Cup as he struggled with the demands of playing football at the highest level. But his form and his attitude in the first 3 months of this season bode well, going into Brazil's bid to win a record 6th World Cup crown. After reporting for pre-season training a week earlier than expected, Neymar hit the ground running when the French campaign kicked off, and he has scored 15 goals in 19 games so far for PSG, while also providing a handful of assists for the likes of Lionel Messi and Kylian Mbappe. For Sport Planet, I'm George Hendricks.
Brazil named Formula One superstar Lewis Hamilton an honorary citizen on Monday, feting the British 7-time champion with a ceremony in Congress. The 37-year-old Hamilton has a close relationship with Brazil, home of his boyhood idol, the late champion Ayrton Senna, and scene of his first Formula One title in 2008. Once again, George Hendricks reports.
Wearing an electric blue suit, Hamilton received a certificate and a medal in the green and yellow of the Brazilian flag from the Speaker of the lower house of Congress, Arthur Lira. Hamilton, who said he was honored, spoke emotionally of Senna, a 3-time F1 champion in 1988, 1990 and 1991, who died in an accident at the San Marino Grand Prix in 1994.
I really want to dedicate today this honor to Ayrton Senna. Ayrton, to Ayrton's family, to his friends and to his fans. For me, when I was 5 years old, I saw Ayrton race for the first time, and that was the moment I knew that I wanted to be a world champion, just like him.
Hamilton, who has called Brazil his second home, has won the Sao Paulo Grand Prix 3 times in 2016, 2018 and 2021. But his greatest memory there is perhaps from 2008 when he passed Germany's Timo Glock on the last corner of the lap to finish 5th and pipped Brazil's own Felipe Massa for the driver's title. The dramatic finish made Hamilton the youngest F1 champ in history and first black driver to win the title. For Sports Planet, I'm George Hendricks.
Stand by for your sports roundup. With the sports news, we have come to the end of tonight's primetime news. Many thanks for watching. Do make a date with us tomorrow as we bring you the latest locally and from around the globe. From myself, Joy Courses, and the entire production crew, it's good night.